So this week we're talking about objection handling, right? Sharing some techniques, some thoughts, some ideas on how to handle objections. Objections are like I said yesterday, are simply questions in the mind of the seller for the most part, right? They're just a question that they have. There's something that's unresolved that they just need some help with. They need some clarification, right? Today, I'm going to go over a technique that you can use to basically handle any objection, right? It's a very powerful technique. I'm going to go over it. But before I get to it, right, I want you to write down the phases of a relationship, right? Phases of a relationship. And there are 4 phases. So basically, we want to identify where you are in respect to the relationship with the client and kind of identify, hey, how do I earn the business from the client? Right? And I need to go through these different phases. So the first phase I wrote down is they simply know you. And what that simply means is they know that you exist and that they know that you are a local expert in your field. That would be like the first phase of a relationship with a client. The second phase is they like you. They like you. And the key here is to establish some sort of rapport with the client. You're aligning with them and have built some sort of rapport, whatever it may be, okay? The third phase of a relationship with the client is they trust you. They trust you. And trust is earned, in essence, through your actions over time. You know, you walk the walk consistently, right? So they start to trust you. And we get a lot of that when you are consistently putting out content on, let's say, social media, and they start to see you really frequently and they like the message that you put out there, right? Building that rapport, then they start to trust you simply, even if they haven't met you, right? And then the last one is they respect you. And basically, you have become now an advisor by your established expertise, right? They now respect you and what you've done. You've helped them in the sale of their home or the purchase of the home, and they respect what you've done. So those are the 4 phases of a relationship. And when you get to an objection, they normally come before they trust you. It's in those first 2 phases. Right. So, and I'll give you some examples. So, you know, someone won't meet with me, for example, is because they don't like me yet. Right. We haven't got to that like part. Right. Someone won't share with me openly. Well, that's because they don't trust me yet. Right. And then the third one is, you know, they won't acknowledge my guidance or my effort or the energy or time I put into it because they don't respect me yet. Right? I want you to really think about that for a second. So they won't meet with me because they don't like me. They won't share openly because they don't trust me. And they won't acknowledge or my guidance or energy that I'm putting here because they don't respect me yet. Right? So basically, like equals alignment. Right? And you want to leverage the why questions with the client so that you can get them to align with you and to start to like you. Right? Trust comes from building the actions over time, right? Future pacing the words, follow through with your actions. And respect comes from providing information that's needed, that they need to leverage them in a kind of storytelling perspective. So you're building that respect with the clients because you're providing that information that they need, right? So an objection, I want you to write this down, are positives. They really are positives. The only thing worse than being faced with an objection is not being faced with one at all. See, what objection is an opportunity for you to shift that client's emotion, that emotional state, to overcome their problem and to show some empathy and creativity and your expertise. That's the purpose of the objection. This is going to help you stand out from the competition. So when you're getting an objection, what you're really getting is an opportunity. So I want you to think that way. So again, what we think about objections are important. When I say the word objection, what comes to mind? Are you fearful, or are you willing to take on that opportunity, right? Be very careful on what you're saying to yourself when it comes to an objection, right? So let's get right to it, okay? So let's get right to it. So the first part is, when it comes to an objection, the key to solving any objection is you need to validate the objection. You need to align the client with yourself, right? So I want you to write this down. Write down the words repeat, comma, approve, comma, and ask for permission. And ask for permission, right? This is the technique that we're going to use when it comes to handling any objection. Any objection. So the first part of it is repeat what they've said, and then you pause. What that tells the client is that you're listening to what they said and you really heard them. Like, you really understand what they're coming across. So you've heard them and you're aligning yourself and saying, I'm listening to you, I get it. And you pause. You do not go into your clever handler immediately. When they say, will you cut the commission, right? Because I think you're charging me too much. You don't jump in to that handler. You do not do that. You need to align yourself with you. Because if you jumped into that handler, this is them saying, hey, can you reduce the commission? And you're like, no, we can't do that. If an agent's willing to cut their commission just like that, how strong could they be defending you in the price that we set? No, you don't jump into that because they're not aligned with you. We need to repeat back what they said. Second part is we need to give them approval. And the approval tells them that you've agreed with their motive, not necessarily what they're objecting. That's important to understand. You've agreed to their motive. You understand where they're coming from, and you need to pause, right? Now, here's the secret sauce with this one. The more approval you give the client, the more they want to reciprocate that back to you. Okay, the more they'll give it back to you. If you just say, yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from, and then you move on, right? You're not going to get the love as of, hey, I completely understand where you're coming from. Thank you for sharing that with me. I love working with people like yourself that, are upfront and honest with me. And I really do appreciate what you're saying to me. See, giving them a bit more love, giving them more approval, they want to reciprocate that in the same manner. Okay. And then the last one is, we're asking for permission. And what that simply is, it's building the bridge between the objection that they have and your clever handler. And to be honest with you, that build a bridge, it could be a simple statement like, may I share something with you? Like, that would be a common building the bridge. Or can I ask you a question? Right? Again, that little bridge part to the handler. And the key to this is getting the yes from them. It's like, may I share something with you? Like, yes, perfect. Now, what that's doing is I am now aligned with the client. They're like next to me. Let's talk this through. Let's really talk this through, as opposed to me coming at you hard saying, hey, boom, here's my handler, right? The idea here is to change the state, change the emotional state that's happening. It's bringing down the tone. It's slowing down your pace, right? To help them move forward from this. Because really, at the end of the day, what an objection is just a question. It's like, I need some clarity. Please share with me, why is it that I see all this advertisement for 3.5% or 4% commission, and here you are asking 6% commission? Like, I just don't get it. Like, is it negotiable? I hear it's negotiable, right? So it's just that conversation, right? So in that, let's try this out. Let's really try this out. Who wants to role play with me? Who would like to role play with me? Really? Don't all jump at the same time. I'll pick somebody. All right. I'll go with William. All right, William, putting you on the spot.
1 second. Okay.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to just share how this works. Real simple. Let's pick an objection, any objection. Let's go with the commission. That's the common one, right?
Yes.
Now, understanding that the commission objection can be, will you reduce the commission is one, but I'm going to go with a little bit deeper. I'm going to say something to the effect of, hey, would you reduce the commission because so-and-so said that they would, right? Like that would be, now I'm having a little bit more direction versus just cut the commission. This is more like, hey, I had another agent come by. They said they would do it for 4%. You're at 5%. Hey, what gives, right? All right, so let's do that. You go ahead and say the objection.
All right. Danny, will you adjust your commission? Because I had another realtor tell me they would do it for 3.5 versus your 5%.
Okay, listen, I so you had another agent come by. They looked at the home and they shared with you a 3.5% commission, correct?
Correct.
And you figure that mine at 5%, you like me to bring it down to that price. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Listen, Will, I want to be upfront honest with you and say thank you. Thank you for bringing that up and giving me the opportunity to answer this question. I really do appreciate and love working with people like yourself that, are upfront and honest with me. So I want to thank you for that. Right. And I completely understand that you want to net as much money as you possibly can in this home. Right. So I completely understand where you're coming from. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So you see what I did? Repeat it back, give them tons of approval, really got you on my side, then went in and asked for permission. Got the yes from them. Now you're going to go in with whatever clever handler. And I would say something like, William, do you own anything more expensive than this home?
No.
You don't? Okay. And would you say that this home is the most valuable asset that you own?
Yes.
Right. And netting the most amount of money from this home is important to you, right?
That is correct. Yes.
I'm a little confused on why you would hire an agent that is willing to cut their commission, their own worth, just like that to you. But, what will they do on the negotiating table when it comes to negotiating the value of your home and netting as most money possible? Now, cutting the commission is not an option, just like cutting the value of your home is not an option, right? Now, do you feel that I can get your home sold?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you feel that I can net you more money than the other agent?
Potentially.
Absolutely. So let's do the right thing and let's sign a contract so I can help you get what you want in the time you want. Now, won't that be great?
That would be great.
Okay, so that's it. That's like the simple handler. Now, everyone's got handlers. I get it, right? Now, I just came at that top of my head. So I haven't used that forever, but that is something that you may want to say. But again, it doesn't work well without setting it up. And this could be any handler. In fact, there will be times where some of the newer agents will go on an appointment and they throw you a completely left field objection that you have no idea how to handle. Like you really don't know how to handle this one, right? But by simply repeating what they say, giving them tons and tons of approval, and then asking for permission, just using that, right? You can sidestep that objection. You could say something to the effect, hey, William, thank you. So basically I'm brand new to the business and you've never heard of my marketing, you never heard of me, right? Completely understand that. And I appreciate you sharing that and letting me know. And I love working with people like yourself who are upfront and honest with me. Hey, can I ask you a question? And then you go into maybe your next point in your presentation, right? Which I've done in the past. I go, can I ask you a question, right? If we were to list your house, where would you go to next? And how soon would you like to be there? So I'm not even going to handle the objection. I would just continue with the conversation and almost put that aside, almost ignoring the objection. And so you can use this technique, the repeat, approve, and ask for permission. And the permission part would just, hey, can I ask you another question? And then what ends up happening is that objection may go away. It may not. It may come back. And then you have to handle it. But there's nothing wrong with doing a little sidestep there. If there's an objection that comes up that you have no idea on how to answer it, right? So use the repeat, use the approval, and then ask for permission, and then just ask them another question and just move on from that. So that's just a little side note when working with an objection that you really have no answer to. All right, so Nick says, how about if they persist on commission cutting? Great question. This is where you have to demonstrate your value. Okay, Nick? If during your presentation, that all your presentation is based upon price and based upon what their home is worth, and if you haven't established yourself as the marketing plan or being the right agent, or your office being the right office to work for them, like if you haven't done the presentation before you get to the commission, right, then you're going to have problems with this, Nick. You're going to have people that are going to keep pushing you on this, right? But if you're able to establish value for who you are as a realtor, right, just handling that objection would work. If they do continue to persist, then I would go in with, again, repeat, approve, build that bridge, and then use a different handler as opposed to the one you just used. You don't go back to the same one. So there's nothing wrong, Nick, with having 2 or 3 ways of handling that objection. But then if they keep persisting with the commission one, this is where you have to make a decision. Is this someone that I want to work with? Am I willing to take the commission lower? I may be in a position where I say, okay, hey, Nick, I'm just curious. What would you like to pay? Like, what are you thinking? Right? Based upon all our service and everything we have here, where do you see the value? If they don't see the value that you bring to the table, they're going to want you to keep cutting the commission. But if they see the value you bring to the table, then they'll just take it as is. Right? I hope that answers your question, Nick. Good. Okay. Does anyone have any other questions, concerns, hallucinations, anything else in their business? No, I hope this was informative. I hope you use this technique. And if that's the case, can you please unmute yourselves? All right. Oh, just a quick reminder. Okay, well, one more question here. Good idea. Ask them how much they think you're worth. Why I like it. Yeah, I've used that in the past where people are persistent. I said, okay, let me ask you this. My office charges X amounts. And that's another, sorry, one more piece. When you're doing your listing presentation and you go through it, you typically want to have them answer the first 3 questions. Why hire me? Why my company? Why my marketing plan? You establish value. Then you go into the commission. Now, there's nothing wrong with using something like the upside down pyramid, where you say my office charges X amount for our services. And you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, can choose what you would like to pay the cooperating broker. Do you want to pay them 2%, 2.5%, or 3%? See, they have a little bit of a feel to it. So they get to negotiate the commission, but realistically, your commission, your portion does not change. That stays. But in today's marketplace where everything's selling and you want to offer the cooperating broker a little bit less commission and they feel like they got a deal, go with that. Does that make sense? All right. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. Okay. So any other questions? No, we all good? Then just a quick reminder, tomorrow and Thursday, there is no Danny's Daily Huddle. Right, we'll be back at this on Monday, right? For those of you that missed that email. All right, if that's the case, please unmute yourselves. Everybody mute yourself, including you, Nick. I want to hear you loud and proud, Nick. Right? All right, so if that's the case, what day is today?
It's money making day.
Making day. It's a money making day. So what do you have to do in your business today to help you move the needle? You guys are awesome. I'll talk to all of you on Monday. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Danny.